Week 1 of OTAs is in the books. It's in the books. Week 2 begins next week. I got the one and only John Chapman here, and we're going to talk about the 49ers. We're going to talk about the players that are trending up, some of the players that may be trending down, and we're going to talk about if the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL. Stick around.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages? Your boy Breezy and John Chapman is back. Second time in the same week, John. What's going on, baby? Oh, I see you, baby. Your shirt
look. The shirt.
Yeah, your shirt look.
Breezy shirt. Excited to be here, man.
I kind of feel like your shirt is a lot more comfortable fitted than mine. Mine's kind of like tight around the nipples. Your joint is, you got some breathing room. I like it.
I had to stretch it out a little bit this morning. I ain't gonna lie. I did the old, big guy stretch. It's the way it goes, man. I'm doing it a little more than I like to nowadays. Need to change some stuff up, baby.
What's going on, everybody out there? Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. The week is ending. The weekend is on its way. I'm excited. John, you got anything special planned for the weekend?
Yeah, for us now, we got this move taking place in like 5 weeks. So we're doing a lot of last hangouts, which has been kind of interesting. So as far as 49ers world, I'm just going to keep breaking down film any chance I get. But yeah, man, we're like in the, hey, let's hang out one last time with different folks. And so we're doing that a lot, which is going to be a lot of fun.
I hate moving, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I told my wife the next time we move, everything stays and we buy new stuff. I just hate moving. That's the worst part. Packing, unpacking, getting into the new place is cool, but unpacking, packing, all that stuff, I don't want anything to do with it. But shout out to everybody out there. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I got to give the Breezy's Bunch crew some love. All right, Troy Knowles is in the building. My man West Coast Kings is in the building. PG Brown, what's going on, PG? Downtown PG Brown's in the building.
Best.
Excellent best. Grizz in the building. Tanisha is back. What's going on, T? Good to see you. Woke Niner recaps. What's going on, family out there? Who else didn't I shout out? Let me make sure I get them all. I see you. Big Papa never softened in. Take it to the church. Rob the preacher for the offering. Sorry, I be on my hip hop stuff early in the morning because I work out from 5 to 7. So I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? So we got the countdown crew. We got everybody here. I see you, Cinnamon Kiss. I see you in here. Christy Marie's in the building. Morning, everyone. All right. Everybody's in the building. Colin, what's going on, family? Ronnie 33 in the building. My boy Niner Cali Boy is in the building as well. Shout out to all the members of the channel. Now, tell you what, if you want to become a member, all you got to do is click on this little join button, clicker, and then you could become a member. Some prompts are going to pop up. I don't know if you could do it off your cell phone, but I know you could do it on the computer. I'm sure you could do it on your cell phone as of right now. So go ahead and become a member of the Breezy's Bunch crew. I tell you, you don't want to miss out on all the extra perks out there. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in from John's channel as well. I see my man Don is in the building. Tom C in the place to be. What's going on, family? And I'm so glad that I have John here because there were some things I wanted to talk about with him throughout the week when I was like, I got to save it for Friday. John, what's the most spiciest thing that's going on right now in 49ers world?
Man, I feel like the level of quarterback conversations, it's just overflowing. And, it's been this way for a while. We even tried on this show to not talk about the quarterbacks for a long time just because it was just getting so over whatever. But then the Niners come out with the press conference and they have not one, not two, but 3 quarterbacks talk at the press conference. And it's just like, all right, they're feeding the beast. I understand the questions. We got to go through it too. But that's the spiciest thing. But I just constantly, as we didn't even put it in the show notes, it's going to take care of itself organically. There's going to be more than one quarterback playing just because it's the Niners. It's going to work itself out. Don't focus so much on, who's getting first team snaps and all that stuff. Not what's important.
It's not what's important. John said it's not important. I can't help but watch or look or listen to what they're putting out there. So don't be mad at me when I put out some stuff that they're putting out. I just want to let people know I'm just regurgitating the information that they put out. And then we come here and we just have a conversation about it. I think that's kind of like what we do, right, John? Shout out to our sponsors over at Residency. Go to www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. Now, I tell you what, they got a sale on their residency caps. Not all of them, but some of them. All right. Don't miss out. You can take advantage of it. They got hats for $15. All right. These hats are usually $50 to $60.
Yeah,
they have some for $15. Go take advantage of it. Use the promo code SFBreezy. Save on your purchase today. And speaking of purchasing, I guarantee you it's going to end very soon. John, 49ersrushroadtrip.com, early bird special. Take me away, baby.
Man, so pumped about this. We've got 5 trips planned out. Head over to 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Come party with me and Wayne. We're going to have a lot of other people coming and going for different trips as well. Nick, I'm hoping Peachy going to be out for at least a couple of trips this year because she's so fun to hang out with. I'm so pumped about this, man. So, yeah, Pittsburgh, that thing's selling out. Like, we're probably, I was talking with one of the guys that I run the site with, and we're probably raising prices on that one because we're already, the numbers are getting ridiculous for that trip. The other trips, those are probably going to be sitting for a while. But, yeah, if you want these cheap early bird pricing, go now, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Go check it out. Some of these parties we got for like $10. $10. Whenever it's like day of and all that stuff, we're gonna have to raise the prices. But yeah, come on, we're trying to reward the people that plan ahead and support the shows and want to come out and party early. That's what that's about.
Bam! You heard it first right here. Wayne Breezy Show, John Chapman Show. Don't forget, click on that link. It's in the description. I hope I spelled everything right. I'm sure I didn't. And Peachy's going to correct me. She's my Grammarly, if you guys haven't noticed, all right? So check it out, right? I can't wait, John. I'm super excited. Pittsburgh is first on the table for us. It's first on the table for the 49ers. They'll be traveling to Pittsburgh. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they picked up a new player, all right? So they signed a new player, the defensive end, Marcus Golden. I did want Marcus Golden. I thought he could be a little bit of speed off the edge. Just early bird synopsis, like a quick early bird synopsis on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Any worries, any thoughts?
One of the most disruptive defenses in the NFL, have been since Tomlin's been there. However, they lost a lot of corners. They lost, I think, their top 3 corners. And so it's going to be interesting. They got Joey Porter Jr., but that's going to be a disruptive draft. There's no doubt about it. It's a 3-4, so it's a weird – it's not the same defense the Niners practice against. Whoever the offensive quarterback's going to be, it's going to be a struggle game. It's just the way the Pittsburgh Steelers play.
I like how you said it's not the typical defense that the Niners practice against, but that week they will be looking at D3-4 fronts, correct?
Oh, 100%. 100%. When they do the scout team stuff, which week 1 you'll get that extra week because they added that bye week when they redid the CBA before week 1 season, so you've got 2 weeks to kind of prepare. So they won't be caught off guard. It's just a little – it's just different. It's just different. And the same thing for the Steelers. They don't play against
the 4-3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both teams have the same thing, and I would argue our defense is better than theirs. But
let's talk about it. Listen, don't bother me, man. Thank you so much. He became a member today of the Breezy's Bunch channel, and he is a Silver Club member. I appreciate that. Don't bother me. You've been rocking with me for the longest. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
So glad you read that because I was like, Don T. But like I was trying to figure out how to say it. I did like the brain did not compute. It's don't bother me, but I was like, who's Don T? But like man, the wheel is spinning, but the hamster is sleeping. It's like, who is Don T B? Like, who is that?
Listen, don't feel bad. I mess him up all the time. I'm just used to talking to him, so I figured it out. Took me about 3 or 4 tries to get it, but I got it. And once I get it, I got it. And when I got it, I'm good. You dig? Like, that's what it is. John, but spot on, man. I like your little quick synopsis, and we'll talk about that as we near the beginning of the season. We have a lot of stuff that's going on up until then. But for right now, let's get to some stuff. Some news for the 49ers front, John, real quickly, man. A couple of injuries. I detest. I don't want to say the word hate. I detest. DETEST EST injuries. But I know that they have to happen because it's the NFL. Let's talk about Dre Greenlaw's. He has a minor procedure. Give us your insight on this. Should we be worried? Do we have, if he's unable to go week 1, are we going to be okay? What do you think?
I think the linebacking depth is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. And that's saying something after you lost Aziz, but there's so many good linebackers. Now, I would be willing to say Dre Greenlaw could play today. We saw Patrick Willis in the club, right? Like it's a thumb issue. He came out and said he had a thumb cleanup, is what he referred to it as. It says, it was affected him whenever he was punching the ball, which is interesting. He was, I think, 3rd in the NFL in forced fumbles last year. So that's a big part of his game, which I like. And I don't care that he's not out there at OTAs. He's part of that group now. He's got that second contract. Now, is he on the level of like Debo or whatever else? Probably not financially or position-wise, but he's in that group. And so no issues whatsoever with this. He's going to be just fine.
I like that, man. And again, he is one of the toughest players that we've seen. He has the old school mentality. You can tell he's willing to play hurt. He's willing to play injured. Yeah. But this is a cleanup, and I like how he used the words cleanup. Now, we've heard that term before with the San Francisco 49ers and a certain player when they got something cleaned up or a scope or whatever it is you want to use for your terms, and it's not really panning out. But I just don't feel like I get that same vibe from Dre Greenlaw.
No, not a thumb. Again, like if he was a quarterback and it was his throwing hand, that'd be one thing. But he's coming off an incredible year. I looked up some stats on Dre Greenlaw whenever you sent me over some of these notes. 4th in tackles of the whole NFL. Fred Warner was 5th, so he led the team in tackles. He had a 6.7% missed tackle rate, which is ungodly. Warner had 10.2, Aziz 7.1, so above those guys.
Wow.
71 solo stops, 3rd best in the NFL. Fred Warner was 2nd. So like he's up there in all of these different. You can fit 9th PFF score over. Like the year he had was just so amazing. And what separated everything was his coverage ability just shot through the roof. He just started seeing things differently. I don't know what it is. One of my favorite plays the whole year is whenever he chased out Tyreek Hill on the out route. Mm-hmm. It was just like unbelievable. Like this dude is a top 5 linebacker as of last year. And if he makes any improvement whatsoever, you're talking Pro Bowl, All-Pro. He's right on the fringe.
That's what I like to hear. All right, John, you take this one. This one's coming from your stream.
Yatsik, my man, he says, I'm off school today. I get to catch you live. What a start to the weekend. Let's remember our fallen heroes. Yeah, Memorial Day's coming up. Very, very important. And, just remember those that sacrificed. Very important. Thank you, Yatsik.
100%. And I got to give another member shout out, all right, to the one and only Chrissy 1687. Thank you so much. She's been a member for 6 months. That's half a year. We getting these half a year membership things coming out of the woodworks, man. That's really cool, Chrissy 1687. I truly appreciate your patronage, your support, everything that you do for the channel. John, do you know how she got her name? Can you guess?
Let's see. 1687. I'm gonna miss it, and I probably know the answer.
I need you to wake up, John.
1687. Yeah, it's the Joe Montana to Dwight Clark.
Okay, so it took me 2 years to figure that shit out. You figured it out in 2 minutes.
I wouldn't if you didn't like smack me across the face with my ignorance. I was sitting there going through like 1687. All right, Jamestown 1607. I'm going through all the U.S. history dates.
I thought it was a 1738. I didn't know what we was doing at some point. But nah, Chrissy, we truly appreciate you. John, I want you to talk about this one a little bit. And the reason being is I didn't expect him to be in a cast during OTAs. So Quantrez Knight, I'm sure I spelled his name wrong twice. What are your thoughts on this?
He's one of my favorite players by a wide margin. When we signed him and I started going through the undrafted free agent film last year, he just popped. UCLA kid. His personality is level 100, man. He is just entertainment and just a ball of freaking energy. And it shows on the tape, too. And so Last year, he won the Practice Squad Player of the Year award, him and Jason Poe. Like, dude just fits. Now, the problem is this is one of the better defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. And the obstacles to get into that 53-man, it just keeps getting harder. When they signed Isaiah Oliver, who we'll talk about a little bit later in the show, I was like, oh, man, that was his spot. like he's going to have to jump up, and it stinks that he's missing these reps in OTA because he's the type of guy that needs them.
Does this help the 49ers keep talent? I don't want to say that.
What you're saying.
Because the Niners find a way to hold on to talent. Like, they're hoarders of talent. I really feel like, and they'll say, "Oh, you're injured? Okay, no problem." Like, and then no one else wants them, and they get to kind of like keep this guy around because I believe Isaiah Oliver is only here for a year, right? Like this 1 year deal or 2 year deal. I can't remember his contract.
I think it was a 2, but
could be a 2. It could be a 2, but my point is, this is what they do, right? So you keep this kid under wraps.
It's 2 years.
It's 2 years. You let Isaiah Oliver come in, and that's the contract tells you that he's the starting nickelback. Like, he's a 2 year. They signed him for 2 years. It kind of tells you that, right?
Yeah. Steve Wilkes even said when we wanted to see what was going to happen with Jimmy. When Jimmy left, the quote was, "We wanted the best nickel in free agency." That was Isaiah Oliver, and he coached against Isaiah. They were in the same division with the Falcons and the Panthers. So he's like, I've seen him firsthand, several games. They targeted him and they paid him. He got, what was his contract length here? He got 2 years, $6.7 million. So, yeah, I mean, not bad, not terrible, but it's nickel. Nickels don't get paid a lot. That's going to start to change, though.
I agree. Let's talk about the other injured 49er that's recovering from the injury. It is scheduled, and Brock Purdy, who 49ers quarterback, he's scheduled to throw next week, John. Right? I believe June 2nd is that target date for him. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts about this? Now, Kyle Shanahan said he's throwing the towel. I remember you and I having these conversations about the throwing procedures and kind of like the ranks. He'll go from towel to golf ball, tennis ball, whatever ball. Kyle made it clear he's going to be possibly throwing a football.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, here's what's funny. When they had the surgery, they were like 12 weeks until they do the checkup. And again, you had Kyle, you had John, everybody say, well, we don't know. We're going to have to wait till this 12 weeks. We're going to have to wait. Well, guess what? That's the first week of June. So everything seems to be going on schedule, which is best news ever. But I have it in my notes that I typed out the day of the surgery. 3 months, start throwing first week of June. And I haven't changed it. Like, this shouldn't be news. I guess the news is it's on schedule, or everything appears to be on schedule. That's great. Now, if we stick to that schedule again, 6 months start participating. That's the 4th week of August in practice, where you're throwing and at normal. That's the time frame there. So we'll see. I hope he heals quick. I would love for him to be ready for week 1. But if he hasn't practiced for at least 2 weeks, then I don't want him out there week 1. I don't want to bring him back. I want to protect Purdy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
We're not playing to the Super Bowl week 1.
Right, and the way we're set up, we can, right? I mean, I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I love our quarterback room. I love the situation that we're in with the 4 quarterbacks that we have on this roster. That doesn't mean I'm in love with the Sam Darnold or Brandon Allen. No, but I love the situation that they're in. If something was to go down, I feel like we're a lot better than what we were last year. And so you go Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. You had to go get my man Josh Johnson off the streets, right? This year, we're coming in with 4 hot joints. All right, you got Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's recovering. Sam Darnold was the free agent you signed. And then you went and got a veteran just in case. And so I kind of like the quarterback room situation. What are your thoughts on the quarterback room situation?
It's incredibly deep. If you're comparing just number 3 quarterbacks there's no competition to the NFL. If you're comparing number 4 quarterbacks, there's no competition to the NFL. If you're comparing 1 and 2, now we can get into some arguments there for sure, but they're both on rookie deals. And so you have this incredibly deep talent pool for dirt cheap. And so that it allows you to do so many other things. And I think that's what's so important.
You knew that was coming. All right.
I like the D.
Keeping the faith says the 49ers should be able to win the first 4 games with Lance or Darnold. Let Purdy be fully ready. This was my biggest. This is why I believe we were suggesting, hey, man, you don't really got to rush Purdy back. Let the dude start on the PUP. Gives you another 6 weeks to kind of just evaluate things. You can get real good evaluation on Trey Lance if he remains healthy through the first 6 to 7 weeks of football. And then, boom. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I like this statement, keeping the faith. Thank you. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I just long term, like that's the thing. I get the focus. You want to win every game. And if I truly do believe that the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan believe Brock Purdy's that answer. But at the same time, like, man, just bring him in slowly. There's no need to just go balls to the wall week 1. If he's 100% healthy, then great. And if he's practiced for several weeks and there's no repercussions, great. I don't have a problem with that. But it just seems like, I don't know, man. I want the best of all worlds, and it just makes sense to me to just ride with Trey for a week or 2 just to see and allow him to get over that, and then slowly bring in Brock. And if Trey's playing all world, then great, you stick with that. But if he's not, no worries. No worries.
No worries. Here's how I look at the Brock Purdy situation. If he throws in June, he's on schedule. If he throws before June, he's ahead of schedule.
Ooh, I like that. I like it.
Just slightly, though. Same damn week. Let's recap OTAs, man. Week 1 is in the books. 49ers look like they had a really good, successful OTAs. We talked about a couple of minor procedures. Dre Greenlaw didn't necessarily participate in OTAs, even though he did individual drills and he was out there. He has the minor procedure. Quantrez Knight, we talked about him. But no other situations are going down as we know of for the 49ers. Let's recap OTAs. I do want to talk a little bit about Lance versus Sam Darnold because that's the competition, even though it hasn't really heated up yet. But that's what it's going to be. That's the Saturday night main event. And so let's just do a quick recap of OTAs. Let me get your thoughts on what you've witnessed and heard.
So far, Trey Lance has gotten all the first-team reps, but, Kyle came out and just said, it's not really a big deal. And we talked about this on the show last week. Like, OTAs, when you get 11 on 11 team reps, that's when it counts. OTAs is not that doesn't matter. You're just there's no team drills. You might do some 7-on-7, whatever else, but there's no like, hey, first-teamers, get up there. Like, that's not what it is. So I know people are going to pay attention to that. I know people are going to chart every throw, and this person was 11 of 17 and blah, blah. Like, coaches don't do that. Coaches don't pay attention to that. That's not what it is. You're paying attention to mechanics, rhythm, timing, all those things. So even though it might catch the Twitter headlines, that doesn't tell the story. It just doesn't.
We got a super chat contribution, John. We do the foghorn over here from your boy Damon Dickerson. All right, go ahead and take this one away, bro.
He says, let's play a game. Start them, sit them, cut them. Ooh, Moore, Zakel, and Pryor. Okay. Ooh, I like this. So he's talking offensive tackles, which Zakel kind of plays a little bit. Almost all these guys do. So you've got Jalen Moore, Nick Zakel, and Pryor. So if I'm starting one of these, I'm starting Pryor. I'm really, really high on that guy. He would be my stardom. And then sit him. Who's your number 2 from this list?
It's like
Matt
I want to
be one.
Yeah, like I want to go with Moore because he has the experience, but we know when he's out there, he just doesn't play experience. He does every now and then have some really good downs. I kind of want to see what the second-year player Nick Zakel could do at the tackle spot. So I would still put Moore at 3. I would go Zakel at 2.
Oh. Yeah, go with the unknown, the swing for the fences pick. He was as close. He was close to a gold helmet guy as they had in that draft class, and he could play, I think, all 5 positions. Crazy smart. We just haven't seen him. But the Niners liked him so much that they stashed him on the inactive list. He was on the 53-man all year. And
all year. Him and Jordan Mason, they figured out how to get them guys on the active 53. Yep, but they, like you said, they were able to stash them. Is it because of that new offensive lineman rule?
Well, he's not being called up from the practice squad. So like he was on the 53 all year. So that would kind of more apply to, man, who did they keep calling up?
But I thought that you can have 53 on the roster. You can up it up to 55, but one of them had to be an offensive lineman.
Right. But see, he's always on the 53.
Okay.
So he's not the one that was upped. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I think now I see what you're saying. Okay. Because he wasn't on the practice squad. So if you have another offensive line on the practice squad, you can up one. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. All right. Cool. Damon,
like
man,
question.
Appreciate that. That's a great question. And thank you for the contribution as well. John, they talked about CMC's leadership here week 1 of the OTAs. They said he was out there full throttle. Like, dude was out there just like it was day 1 of training camp. What are your thoughts on CMC, man?
I just see CMC as like James Bond. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, that dude's just all business, and he's freaking marrying Miss Universe, and he's on top of the world. Like, and it's just cool to see. Now, he's not. It's funny because whenever he does press conferences and stuff, he's pretty boring. Like, he's not like an exciting talker or interview or whatever else. But, man, on the field, he's just straight business. This dude is a programmed assassin with the way his parents raised him. And he's just a product of that environment, man. Ed McCaffrey did a hell of a job. And this dude, he's going to go 1,000 miles per hour no matter what. It's just who he is. And so you remember just last year when we were 3-4 and people were like, who are the leaders on this team? There's a leadership issue. That's my voice of public opinion. That's what I think they sound like in my head. Which is hilarious because, like, you look at this team and it's like, good Lord, there are just leaders everywhere. And he's just one added to that. Do you think he'll be a captain?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's a captain. Captain CMC. I can see it right now.
Well, in the past, Kyle lets everybody vote. He lets everybody vote.
So here's the thing. I like that you said that because if he's out there when he doesn't have to be out there, doesn't that show captain leadership to me?
Oh, everybody. Well, let me say this. I don't know if you watched all the press conferences. There was one beat reporter that was there.
They called him a mini Bosa?
Well, no, he asked every single person on stage the same question about CMC. So, like, there's a reason why this was circulating. Like, Kyle comes up, he asks the question about CMC. Then Brock comes up, asks him the same question. Then Trey, same question. Like, and so, like, I don't know. Sometimes.
Well, Trey said that he was a mini Bosa out there, I believe.
Well, Bosa even said the similar thing because neither one of them are the loud talk guys like, hey, George Kittle, Fred Warner. They're not those guys. They are just straight business, like professional, like shut your mouth, do your job, go all out, work as hard as possible. Like that's just Bosa and CMC. So, yeah, he's James Bond.
James Bond. What is the theme music? No, that's Mission Impossible. What the hell is James Bond music? Mission Impossible music is way better than James Bond music, bro.
That's a banger. That's a banger.
Yeah, the Mission Impossible. When I was doing production battles, I sampled that joint and I actually won a production battle using that sample. I put some hard ass gritty drums under that joint, kept the 3/4 shuffle going, hit him with that doom doom. That junk was dope. Do. Anyway, I can't think of James Bond music. I gotta go watch. I can't get into James Bond, but now I gotta go watch the Sean Connery James Bond.
It's the I could do it, but I'm tone deaf. But it's that dun 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 dun. Like
that don't bang like the dun 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 dun.
All bangers all the time. Kendall Roy.
It don't bang. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be banging that joint at the first 49ers Rush road trip. I can tell you that right now.
There we go.
Hey, John, OTAs is in the books, man. Trey Lance versus Sam Darnold. This is what they're pumping out there. The reps don't matter. Trey's throwing Trey's running reps with the first team. Sam Darnold's running reps with team 2. Kyle Shanahan told us that Trey Lance is technically running with team 2s because no team 1 wide receivers out there. Let's just talk about this, man. And what do we have to look forward to with these 2 guys?
It's competition, man. And one of my favorite things that I took away from all the press conferences was just competition. That's it. And Trey came out and said, I'm not taking anything away from what Brock did. Nobody can. He deserves it all with what he did. I just want a chance to compete, whether that's with Sam, whether that's with himself, whether that's with Brock, whatever else. Like, this is everybody wants to make this an unhealthy situation, a toxic situation. But it's not. That's not what it is. And like, you see the clips from practice and, they're going through the reps and all that stuff, and Trey gets up there, he does his throws, and then he goes back, high fives Darnold, high fives Allen, and then same thing with Darnold. He gets up there, then he goes, like, it's not a toxic situation. This is the environment is much healthier than even when Jimmy Garoppolo was here. That was a weirder spot, but they handled it well. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm saying the spot that we're in now is less crazy than what we had previously, but it's just the continuing stacking of all these crazy narratives that makes the observer think it's insane. It is fueled by a lot of different people that are trying to push craziness, but that's okay. That's okay.
Call me Kugel for Cocoa Puffs, but I think this is going to be like fireworks. Sam Darnold is going to be challenged. He wants to play football. Trey Lance is like, slow your roll, pump the brakes, home skillet. I'm here. It's going to be friendly, but it's going to be competitive. You know what I mean?
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. I thought we would get away from that mantra because that's what it was last year, but I don't think we ever can, because if you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they're always bringing in competition. They have competition, John, at the freaking kicker position, bro. Since when? Since when? Speaking of kickers, let's do a quick rookie watch. John, you get to pick one rookie that you feel from week 1 of OTAs that's trending upwards, baby.
I'm going to cheat.
Cheater. Cheaters never win, even though they win. Hold on. I never understood that.
Bill Belichick doesn't believe in that. Tom Brady doesn't believe in that.
But here's the thing. The cheaters always win. They might not continue to win in the long run, but they win right now.
I think cheaters came up with that so that other people wouldn't cheat and they would keep cheating and keep winning. Mark Grace. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? It's just that's the quote there. But my player, here we go. I'm going with an undrafted free agent linebacker. And again, I'm being greedy here because I just did like a deep background check on this kid. He might be one of my he's my new like favorite story on the 49ers. And that's linebacker Mariano Sori Marin out of Minnesota. Again, I say this all the time. This front office and coaching staff, they can evaluate linebackers better than any position. They don't miss. Again, second time I'm using this quote, Kendall Roy. Nothing but bangers all the time because that's all they bring. It's just nonstop. That was a Succession quote for those of you that don't know Kendall Roy. That's okay. Nothing but bangers all the time. I want to try to say it all the time. This kid's unbelievable. His family fled Cuba. They were part of his great uncle and grandfather were part of the Fidel Castro overthrow, and then corruption, all that stuff. They had to flee. His great uncle was in the Bay of Pigs and got executed by a firing squad whenever he got captured. Like, this kid, he watched Pee Wee football film with his coach, and he just kept that passion. And so he's a film junkie, all those things. A lot of fun. I really do like this kid, Mariano Sori Marin. I just think a special team stud. I think there's a chance this kid can find his way on the 53 at some point this year, but special teams. I'm really excited about this kid.
I can't wait to watch him play. Do you feel like who was our special teams? I feel like we had a special teams linebacker.
TFF.
Yeah.
He's going to take his job.
That's the battle.
I told you. Bro Montana. Yeah, it's called, I looked it up. It was like Man, give me a second, because he has a YouTube channel that's really, really cool, and I watched a couple of them. I thought about you, Breezy. He goes around sampling food, and so he's got like goes and eats at like barbecue spots,
nice,
and all that kind of stuff. Here we go. I got it on here somewhere.
Hey, bro,
through my notes.
Montana, when you get the link, man, share it with me. I want to check it out so I can subscribe to the channel for sure.
I'll find it at some point. I got it in my. I tweeted it out because I thought it was really, really cool, and I was like, man, this is awesome. But yeah, I'll find it in a second. Oh, here it is. Meals with Mariano. That's what it's called. So if you type that into YouTube, he's got a handful of them on there. So go check it out. Fun kid.
All right. Rookie watch for me. I got to take it back to Michigan. And so, like, you just did your film breakdown on Ronnie Bell. I want to know, without giving away everything you talked about in your film breakdown. Now, to me, he's had one of the best OTAs. He's catching everything, like, and he has really great hands. There's nothing for him to create separation. I mean, he's winning one-on-ones. He's not winning the big battle, the big picture, the zone defense, all that type of stuff. Man to man, no, he can get open. Let me ask you this question. From your film breakdown, and everybody go check it out on John's Patreon, give us some insight on what you witnessed when you watched some of the film on this young man, Ronnie Bell.
I think that there are certain ways that he wins so consistently. You talked about his hands, which are awesome. He's so scrappy that, and again, it goes back to this idea of, okay, what's Cameron Latu, what's Braden Willis, and what does Ronnie Bell all have in common? Hands, finding space versus the zone. And you brought this up on the Wednesday show. Like, that is just so consistent. Now, my biggest issue with Ronnie Bell is that he does not generate a lot of separation, and contested catches, maybe one of the worst out of any drafted wide receiver. I think it was at like 16% contested catch rate. But at the same time, you see it sometimes. It's just not consistently there. So Shanahan and him, like, if I'm Ronnie Bell, you could not have gone to a better place. It's a perfect pairing because Shanahan will get you the separation because he's going to scheme it all up. So I think this is a perfect pairing. I like the pick more and more the more I watch it. There are red flags. He went in the 7th round, but gosh, man, those hands are – he's a baller. He's just a baller.
So I could tell you this. There are no red flags. What you saw is what you saw. And I agree with your assessment 100%. There's so many factors and context to put into that. Him not having a quarterback, him getting the ACL injury, there's just so many things that can factor into him why he's not winning those balls or why he doesn't seem a certain way, whatever like that. But you said that he's put into the best situation. And so all he needed was an opportunity. And so, listen, getting drafted in the 7th round, some players are going to be happy and ecstatic for the opportunity. Some players feel like they worked their ass off and they should have went higher. And so that was probably the response you got from him. I can see why a lot of people feel like they don't like him or his attitude. I tell you what, though, he's going out there showing you that he probably shouldn't have got drafted in the 2nd round. And for all the teams that passed on him, he's probably going to show something. He's going to show you something. So I can't wait till training camp because training camp is when we really get to see really quickly. I know this is premature. Does he make the 53?
I think he does. I think that opportunity is there. And again, you talked about everybody passing on him. This is who he was. He was an absolute basketball stud in high school, and he thought that was his avenue to college basketball and all that stuff. It wasn't until Harbaugh had somebody talking to him about this basketball player. You should check him out. That's how he got on the radar and was like the last offered player for Michigan and took it and ran with it. Was, I think, a 3-time team captain, right? Like, the dude, whenever I say baller, basketballer, footballer. He's clutch. He is, he's got that. When the game's on the line in big moments, he shows up bigger than anybody consistently. He doesn't retreat. He's not Kirk Cousins. When the lights are on and the lights are brightest, he's at his best. And that's a huge check mark for me.
I keep telling you, we drafted 3 players, 1 season, 1 game. Just go watch the TCU game versus Michigan. All the players that we've talked about, all the rookies from the 49ers,
they do that all the time.
They performed very well there. So Senior Bowl, they did their thing. But that game under the big lights on national television, I mean, Ronnie Bell had a game, like, right? D. Winters had the best game of his career, right? And then when you look at Jake Moody, he's kicking 50-yard field goals. So when you look at that one game, that game tells you it all. It tells you why the 49ers, it just kind of probably signed, sealed, and delivered the deals that they wanted to get out of those guys. We got a lot of Super Chat contributions. Listen, keep the Super Chat contributions coming. We do it a little bit differently here on the show. We try to get through the preface of the show. We have a whole segment of Super Chats that we're going to read, which is cool because then we can kind of like recap some of the stuff we talked a little bit earlier on the show. So don't be mad if we don't get to it right away, but I promise we will get to all the Super Chat contributions. Thank you so much. Keep them coming in, though. We truly appreciate that. All right, John, you gave me the rookie watch. You ready? It's player watch time. And so give me that one player that's rising up.
Isaiah Oliver. I said we were going to talk about him later, but doesn't matter. The beat reporter that was there, they all talked about how he was very clearly the best defensive back and defender in the 7-on-7 period, in the 1-on-1 period. Like, he was out there, and I love it. Show up, stake your claim, and prove that you were worth, the money, the addition, and all those things. So, new guy coming into a new territory, you got to alpha male that stuff, man, and he handled it well. So excited to see what he's going to bring. And, man, can you imagine? Again, I think it's 2 starters on the defensive side of the ball that have changed. I think it's just 2, Jimmy Ward, and then the defensive end spot. That's it. Everything else is the same. And so, like, if this one spot can be solidified like that, man, great news.
Amazing news. Marcelino McCrary Ball.
Those mic snaps.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. I really am. I'm excited to watch players ascend. I don't think we get too many descensions from players. I think players are just on the up and up. I don't know how their opportunities are going to come. John, the one thing I can tell you about the San Francisco 49ers, they are stacked. Yeah. And I just finished going through the roster breakdown again because I can't count. And I was on 89 for the longest. And I had to figure out, like, who the hell am I missing? And it was a tight end, obviously. It was Troy Fumagalli. But my point is, we are stacked at just about every position. And the starters are like, it's pretty much locked and starting. God forbid it will take an injury to happen for one of those the positions to even open up. And so now I'm just trying to figure out, like, who's going to be on the rise, who's going to get when they get the opportunities, who's going to go out there and take that opportunity by the tail and just do its thing. And we talked about McCrary Ball because he was the one guy that wasn't given a futures contract like all those other guys. He got a 1-year deal. And remember, I kept saying, don't let his size fool you. The kid can cover. The kid can tackle. He just needs time and space and opportunity.
My favorite thing about, again, I think McCrary Ball kind of solidifies this. When we drafted the 2 linebackers, D. Winters and Jalen Graham, I was like, man, where are they going to put him? It seems pretty obvious. Well, now we know that answer. You had McCrary Ball taking back up Mike snaps. You had D. Winters taking back up Will snaps. You had Jalen Graham in the Sam spot, taking over for Aziz. And so you've got this 2-deep rotation of linebackers. Again, they judge this position better than any other spot. And they haven't spent very high on it outside of Reuben Foster. Everything else, you've gotten just crazy value and just keep building, man. And so excited for him. Curtis Robinson, special teams, where he's going to fit in because he's almost identical to Marcelino McCrary Ball. So, and then again, we just talked about Mariano. There's just guys. There's 8 studs. It's going to be interesting, man.
Real interesting. Camp is going to be too legit to quit. I might even be out there with my MC Hammer pants on doing the dance. Hey. All right. John, let's get to the meat potatoes of this before we get into what we're going to do live on the air for everybody. We got a little exercise for everybody. Question of the day. Do the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL? John Chapman is going to give us his take on this. They finished number 1 in 2022. We talked about their interceptions on the Tuesday show, how they led the league. Well, I think they were number 2 in interceptions, but they were still top. Either way, they were the number 1 defense overall. John, do they start the season off number 1 again?
I think once, season 1, or it could be weird, right, early on, but as the time period goes, the cream rises to the top. We were tied for most interceptions with, guess who? The Pittsburgh Steelers. And so you've got those two teams squared off against each other, and young quarterbacks. It's going to be a volatile game just because the defenses are so good. Now, if you're just talking like, okay, who's the best defenses in the NFL, you have to look last year. The Niners were first in points, first in yards. Who were some of those other teams that showed up on that list? There's a pretty big gap, to be honest with you. Buffalo, Baltimore, the Jets, Cowboys, Eagles, Saints, Steelers. Like, there's a lot of very good defenses in the NFL. I think a lot of people want to put the Eagles pretty high on that list, but one of their best players, if not their best defensive players, on our side now. And so, again, what did the Niners lose? You lost Jimmy Ward, and you lost Charles Omenihu, and you lost Samson Ebukam. That's what you lost. If you want to throw Emmanuel Mosley in there, that's fine, but he was kind of factored out because of the injury. So the Niners added considerably. I would take Hargrave and Oliver over Jimmy Ward and Samson Ebukam and Charles Omenihu. Like I don't even think that's close. If you look at the amount of money spent or, contract value, whatever else, or stats, it doesn't matter. It's not even comparable. So do the 49ers have the best defense? It sure as hell looks that way. You have to change at the defensive coordinator position. What's that going to look like? It seems, my favorite thing from, again, Wilkes' interview last time was embrace but tweak. Embrace but tweak. So, you don't have to change the whole thing. So, if I'm making a bet, who has the best defense in the NFL, I think the Niners could be better than they were last year. So, the answer is yes. The Niners do have the best defense in the NFL, but will they perform that way?
And that's something that Eric Armstead, he spoke on Good Morning Football. He says, well, on paper, I guess you can say that, but on paper doesn't win any games. Armstead responded, but we're excited about getting together and starting that journey of grinding, getting together, and working. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice if we want to be the best. We have the guys to do it, and I think we're going to do it. But only time will tell once we get out there on that field. Quote, I think we have the team to do it. Like I said, each year brings new challenges, new adversity, things you're going to have to go through as a team. We have the team. It's just going to take us locking in, like pit bulls, focusing and getting out there. It starts in OTAs and building the foundation and then training camp. But I think we'll be ready. And I think we have an opportunity this year to do something special. That's from Eric Armstead, man. That's from a guy that in the 49er community, he's valued so high. I think in the NFL community, he's overshadowed because he doesn't put up the statistics as some of these other premier defensive tackles in the league. But he fits the 49ers like a glove.
He's probably one of the best humans in the NFL, right? 3-time Walter Payton, Man of the Year nominee. Incredible. And you got to remember, this dude was an Iron Man. He played 4 straight seasons without missing a game. Then he had the foot issues this year. So he missed some time for sure. He played 12 total games this year. But whenever he came back in that Miami game, that was the switch. Do you remember? A lot of that was Brock Purdy, for sure. But, that was the switch for the defense, too. They started shutting. You had that game, then you had Tampa Bay. They just went cataclysmic right after that point. And a lot of people, the people that want to talk against Armstead, they're like, oh, his sacks or whatever else. Watch the playoffs. He led the team in sacks in the playoffs. He had 2 sacks in the playoffs, 10 pressures, 10 tackles, 7 solo stops, 1 tackle for loss, 2 additional quarterback hits. That he was the best. He outperformed. He played better in the playoffs than Nick Bosa did. He was that good. Whenever it was time to show up, he showed up. And if you go back to 2021 playoffs, same damn thing. Same damn thing. So I'm a big Armstead guy, and I feel like that's kind of a litmus test for if you. I don't want to sound like an a-hole, but I'll be an a-hole right here. If you ask fans, hey, what do you think about Eric Armstead? It lets you know who watches tape. I'm just going to be honest. Because if you get his stats and blah, 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 and he's too paid and, Buckner, you hear those things, they don't watch tape. They don't watch tape. Because if you watch tape and understand just how he contributes to everybody around him so consistently and not negative plays, so positive, he just jumps off film. And he shows up in the biggest moments. So I'm a huge Armstead guy.
Huge Armstead guy, bro. Huge Armstead guy. And on top of that, John, I really see big things for Armstead here in the latter years of his career with the 49ers. I don't see him going anywhere. I see the addition of Javon Hargrave. I see that prolonging his career because it's a little less wear and tear on him. I think the 49ers are doing him due diligence. You can tell that the 49ers love him because they chose him over D-Buck. And on top of that, right, they got I would say a better bang for their buck because you got a more versatile piece. You got a guy that was going to line up on the outside and then saw that the run defense sucked and then lined up on the inside due to the injuries of Kinlaw and stuff like that. So listen, I really do love this guy. I love everything that he's about. I hope he definitely walks away home 1 year with that Walter Payton Man of the Year award. He definitely deserves it. He does a lot for his community in Sacramento. He does a lot for the fans in San Francisco. And if he continues to just go out there, remember last year, a lot of people were down on him. He was unhealthy last year, for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, how many games did he play in a row? I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like 4.5 years straight without missing a game and, one of the highest snap rates for any defensive lineman. And that's what's so cool about him and Hargrave is because those two have been NFL Ironmen at one of the toughest positions to stay healthy at. If you could get both those guys staying healthy, this is going to be fun to watch, guys.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I like the answer to your question. I do feel that way. I know Eagle fans are going to feel some type of way. They're going to feel like they run the NFC. Speaking of NFC,
starters they lost though.
I know. Let's talk about who's best in the NFC, John. Let's have some fun with this. I got to get out of this overlay real quick. We're going to spin the wheel. These are the positions that we have left. Last week we did the wide receiver trio. All right, we're going to do groups as wholes as right now. So you can see I have the secondary up there as a whole. All right, so that's 2 safeties, 2 cornerbacks, or the nickel back. You can add it in there. We could do it like that, however you see fit. We're focusing on the NFC only, and we have to rank these things. So, guys, stick around. If you didn't hit the like button already, make sure you do so. If you're not subscribed to both channels, take this time to do so. John, we're about to spin the wheel, and are you ready? Spin it. Here we go. All right, which position will we be covering this week? Of course, because that's the show.
There we go. So, question is, are we doing full D-line or are we doing defensive ends or defensive tackles?
We're going to do the full D-line. So, the 4 up front or the 5 up, however you want to look at it. If they run a 3-4, it's totally up to you.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this, man. So let's do what we did last time, where we jump through by division and we approach it that way.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And so I'm opening up my PFF depth chart. You give me a team to start with, and we'll start with that division.
All right, so let's go with the NFC South.
All righty. So let's do Tampa Bay. Let's start there. All right, so who are their defensive line? It's interesting because they were so bad. Like, they were amazing. They win the Super Bowl. Then they were bad. It was rough. So they've got Joe Tryon and Shaq Barrett as their defensive ends. I like that. Vita Vea. And then they drafted Kalijah Cansey in the first round this year. So that's a lot of first-round talent. I think was Barrett a first-rounder? I don't think he was. Yeah, he wasn't drafted. He was undrafted. That's right. But Vea, Cansey, and Joe Tryon, all first-round picks. So they've got 3 first-rounders. That's pretty damn strong.
Very strong.
So let's go to Carolina because we're gonna. What we do if you weren't here last time, we go through each division and we're gonna rank them 1, 2, 3, 4 in their division, and then we'll rank all the number ones against each other once we fill this out.
Bingo.
Because I know everybody always does just Niner stuff, and that's cool. But this is a fun time to get outside and to try to weigh what the Niners have against these teams. All right, let's go to the Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns and Ji'Ayir Gross-Matos, the Penn State kid. They got Derek Brown, who was drafted right before Kinlaw, and he's played pretty well. And Shy Tuttle, undrafted free agent out of Tennessee. So those are their 4. So real quick, this will make it easier on me. Tampa Bay over the Panthers, correct?
I got Tampa. I got Tampa. I got Tampa over the Panthers.
Wait. All right, let's go to New Orleans, who is just, New Orleans Saints, they're such a weird team.
Their front is old.
It's old, but so good. I just did this whole
Cameron Jordan, Marcus Davenport. I know.
Davenport's
but how?
He's not there.
Oh, well, then Cameron Jordan. No, what's the other guy? Demario Davis.
They've got Carl Grandison. They've got Demario Davis.
That's who I meant. Davenport's a secondary guy. My bad.
Nathan Shepard.
Nah. Here's my order of the NFC South, just off the top of the dome piece. I feel like Tampa's 1, Carolina's 2, Atlanta's 3. Shit.
And again, Brian Breesy. They got a first-round defensive tackle guy out of Clemson in the Saints as well.
Okay, this is tougher than I thought.
Let's go through the Atlanta team real quick. Here's the Atlanta defensive front. Bud Dupree. You got Jarrett there, who's just been Grady Jarrett. He's the Niners killer. Every time we play him, he just has a year. And they got Calais Campbell this year, too. So now they got him, and then Arnold Ebiketie. You remember him? Everybody liked him last year for the Niners, speed edge rusher. I think I put Atlanta last still. I don't like any of their edge players. Bud Dupree's good, but I would put Atlanta last. I would go Tampa Bay 1,
Carolina 2. I'm going Saints last and Atlanta 3rd.
All right, cool.
Damn it.
All right.
We finally disagree again.
All right, let's go NFC West. Let's do this. Let's do the Dallas Cowboys, which is interesting.
You mean the East?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. My bad. They got a pretty good squad. Micah Parsons for sure. You got to put him there. Tank Lawrence, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a beast. They go out and spend a first-round pick on Mozzie Smith this year, and the all-named team, Osa Odigizua, who they got in the 3rd round last year that just played awesome. So that's theirs. This is going to be a battle because there's some good defensive lines here. No doubt about it. So let's do them versus the Eagles because that kind of help us.
I still got the Eagles number 1.
Do you? Yeah, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick, not even mentioning Brandon Graham, who's rotated in there. Yeah, I think so as well. All right, cool. Let's go New York Giants. The New York Football Giants.
This is tough.
Azeez Ojulari.
This is tough.
Thibodeau, pretty good. Man, yeah, this is good. Dexter
we haven't
Lawrence.
seen Azeez play yet, though, right?
Azeez did play last year.
Okay.
He played his rookie year, then got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good. And Leonard Williams. This is good.
They might have the toughest defensive line group in the league. Like the NFC East joint might be tough because then wait till you get to Washington.
Yeah, they all built the same up front, which is smart. So, all right, let's do Washington. Chase Young, Josh Sweat, they run a 3-4. Josh Allen, Daron Payne, and then you can throw in their nose tackle, Abdullah Anderson. But, yeah, this is hard. I'm going Philly 1 as well. But I think I'm going, man, golly. This might be for the top 6 in the whole NFC. I think I'm going Giants 2. Is that weird?
No, I'm going Dallas 2.
Dallas 2?
Giants 2.5.
And you put Washington last. Somebody's got to be last.
Washington is last. I can't put the Giants to me got better on the front.
Gosh.
They got better. And they added in Mozzie Smith too to stop the run. They're gonna be.
That was Mozzie Smith went to the Cowboys.
They added. No, I meant that's why I meant the Cowboys. The Cowboys got better on the front.
Yes. So we've got Philly 1, Dallas 2, Giants 3, Washington 4. Now, check this out. Let's do this and go to the north and look at this discrepancy. Let's start with Minnesota. They signed Marcus Davenport. They got him. They've got Dean Lowry. Don't really know much about him. Azizi Otomewu, 5th-round pick last year. Don't know much about him. And Daniel Hunter. Terrible. This is terrible. The Vikings are a bad football team, man. I don't know how else to say
the
that.
Vikings are going to be probably
terrible.
last in the NFC.
They might have the worst defense in the NFL, and it might not even be close. They're Arizona Cardinals bad.
Yeah.
Ugh, yuck. All right, Green Bay. They
bad
put a
too.
lot of resources.
I don't think they're that good.
Rashawn Gary. They drafted Lucas Van Ness in the first round. Kenny Clark's a baller, dude. He's still really, really good. And then you've got Devontae Wyatt, another first-round guy out of Georgia. They've got some dogs, man. They've got some guys. I don't know.
So all right. So NFC North, we're putting the Vikings last.
Yes.
We're the Bears because the Bears got a good front too.
Okay, cool. Let's go through Chicago. Yeah. DeMarcus Walker, all right, not bad. Then you've got Justin Jones, all right. You've got Andrew Billings, nope. And then you've got Trevis Gibson. No, it's terrible. It's like I would put them ahead of Minnesota still, but not by much. And that's the thing. We were talking about the NFC East, dominant. Now we get here to the North, and it's like, good Lord. These are not good football teams. They're not built the correct way. Now you look at the Detroit Lions. Yeah, they got Hutchinson, who's amazing. Aiden Hutchinson was awesome. But outside of that, Josh Pascal, all right.
Yeah, you're right. I think
Aleem
you're right, John.
McNeil, no. Charles Harris, no.
You're spot on, bro.
Terrible. It's I think my
Packers
order,
won. Packers won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit 2, even though
Detroit,
it sucks.
Detroit 2. I think you put the Vikings 4.
Chicago 3.
And Chicago 3.
It's a trash division, bro.
But these might be the bottom 5.
They really might be. I'm taking New Orleans, who we had 4th, over Detroit, who we had 2nd. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right.
Good point.
All right. Let's go check out the Cardinals. Let's stick to the terrible teams. I don't even know some of these guys, so let's just hold. They went and got L.J. Collier, the first-round bust with Seattle. He's going to be starting for them. That's hilarious.
I can't stand you.
Rashard Lawrence, all right, cool. Carlos Watkins, all right, cool. Cameron Thomas.
They're just
right.
last, John. They're 4th in our division. You don't even have to go through their.
They did get B.J. Ojolari, who I do like. The
Correct.
Rookie, but still,
Related to Aziz, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's in the family. Let's do Rams. They got Aaron Donald. Everybody knows that.
Well, as long as you got Aaron Donald, that kind of keeps you in the float.
Yeah, listen to these other names. Nobody's heard of these guys. Marcus Copeland, Jonah Williams, undrafted, Michael Hocht, undrafted, and Byron Young. We all like Byron Young. That was the Tennessee kid. So the speed rusher. Oof. It's
Cardinals, it's Rams, it's Seahawks, it's Niners.
Yeah, I think
the Seahawks definitely drafted some studs. I don't give what anybody say. They drafted some studs.
Yeah, they went after some fun ones. So
this list is going to be different though, because I don't know how we're going to take the 4 1s if we feel like the NFC East has 4 1s.
Yeah,
I would say that the NFC East has 3 possible ones.
Correct. Green Bay is not even in the discussion. So I would take top 3 in NFC. I'd take the 49ers over them. I'd take Tampa Bay over them. Like, Green Bay's like last in this.
So,
yeah.
So to me, it's top 2. Top 3 would be Niners, Eagles, Tampa. And now we got to figure in
Dallas and New York.
I feel like New York and Dallas might beat out some of the 2s that we got.
Yeah.
So let's go through the 2s real quick.
Okay, 2s, Dallas 2, Detroit Lions, Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are out, Carolina's out.
See what I'm saying?
Detroit's not good.
No, so Dallas moves up, so they're 4. And let's go to the 3s. Giants.
Giants. It's Giants, the Bears, Atlanta, and the Rams. No, this is bad. It's terrible.
Are we missing? So are the Giants better than the Seahawks?
Yes, by a mile.
Shit.
By
Okay.
a mile.
Well, there you go. What's our top 5? This was quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to take us a half hour.
So top 5, again, we haven't differentiated the best of the ones. That's the issue.
Oh, I thought we did.
Oh, so who's your number 1?
Niners, Eagles 2.
You put Niners over defensive line wise?
Over the Eagles? Hell yeah. We just took their best piece and we added it to our number 1 defense.
If we had a solid defensive end, that would be the difference for me.
See, that's not fair because
Philly
you're banking Philly. Okay, so you're taking their edge.
They have 3 solid edges. We have 1. That's the only reason why I would put them first.
But now they no longer have an unproven interior because they lost the interior piece that soaks up the double teams. So I bet you their edge doesn't look as great as it did last season.
I agree with that. Yeah, and again, like it's totally cool. Like they're both badass. I just think that they have more. I value the edge more than defensive tackles. And they've got 3 stud edges, maybe 4 if you want to count Nolan Smith. But that's okay. So you've got Niners 1, you've got Philly 2, and then Dallas 3, right? Do you
That's
have
what
Dallas or Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay would be 4, right?
Tampa Bay would be 4.
Okay, cool. There we go. Man, that's fun. And then Green Bay would be 5.
Did we put Green Bay 5 or did we put the Giants ahead of Green Bay?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Sorry, I missed that part. Yep.
So we got 3 NFC East. Do we play we play the NFC? How dope is this freaking exercise? We play the NFC East. John, you got to go back and look at the schedule. We got the Giants with that defensive line on Thursday Night Football. You got Dallas coming in on Sunday Night Football. They're in our top 5, bro.
Yeah.
And we have these games as kind of like we have them as wins. Maybe not the Giants one, but just because of the scheduling. Oh, this is going to be rough. And then we got the Eagles that we play on the road later on in December.
And the Bucks. And we got the Bucks this year.
But see, the Bucks defense to me doesn't have the offense to allow them to rest.
They're terrible.
I was watching Baker Mayfield in practice, bro. He can't hit. Never mind. This is not a Baker Mayfield show, but you know what I'm trying to say.
He's bad. He's real bad.
So to me, their defense will get worn out at some point. So that's why I'm not necessarily worried about their defense. Hey, listen, Kylie agrees with you. So does Sammy and Pickle. They agree. I'm not saying that we don't need the second edge. John is saying that their second edge. All right, so give me their edge rushers, John. Graham.
Okay, so Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, and Brandon Graham.
All
and
right.
Nolan Smith.
So, but again, Nolan Smith hasn't done much.
Right.
And these guys are going to have to step up. And so I guess my theory with that is, and I'm not trying to be a homer for the Niners, but my theory is we got better interior pass rushing wise, and they got a lot worse. Now, that does not mean that those rookies and the second year players won't step up, but now you're putting a lot on them to step up. And so the offensive lines are going to challenge them to beat them one-on-ones, because now they're going to start putting guys doubling up to not let Reddick get around the side and not let Sweat do what he does. Josh Sweat does what he do. So, like, I feel like offensive lines have a better game plan because they're not necessarily fearing those two young guys. Now, when they had they still have him too, the old guy,
Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox is still there. He's still a menace, but now you're missing the other piece. I don't know. Call me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I get it. Y'all logic makes perfect sense.
It's like, for me, the best two players are Nick Bosa and Javen Hargraves. Like, those are the best two out of both these two teams.
Right.
But then whenever you get to 3, 4, 5, 6, I think all those are on the Eagles' side. And so, like, that's the issue for me. But again, yeah, the best two players on these two teams are both on the 49ers team. So, yeah, it's a fun way to look at it. And it puts everything in perspective whenever you're saying this or that, this or that. That's fun. That's fun.
I love it, bro. Great exercise, John. We got a poll question we want to get to real quick. So, yesterday, Jimmy Garoppolo has surgery. And I think it's fun. I think it's funny because people felt like I was attacking this man, and I was more attacking his antics, right? On the way he kind of handled the situation with the 49ers, right? Like the way he handled it with the 49ers. And so I didn't like it. And from that moment on, I was disgusted. And I felt like the Niners definitely got to find a way to move on from him. But unfortunately, they couldn't because he was still on the roster, and they found a way to not pay him a lot. They gave him a dirt dog deal. He accepted it, and he became a person on the roster. And when anybody's on this roster, they get my full support, whether I like him or not. And so that's what I did. I supported him. So he's no longer here. He's a free agent. He gets a big deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. And here comes the Jimmy Garoppolo story. So the question is, are you happy that Jimmy Garoppolo is no longer a problem for the 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, I want Jimmy to be successful, and I'll come out and be honest. I don't think I ever put this on the show, but I felt this way. I felt like Jimmy could have came back in the NFC Championship game, but his agent wasn't going to let him. Ooh. I was wrong. I don't think I said that ever on the show. I don't want to
because
put that
of the news we're hearing today about the injury,
but
right?
I was wrong. I'm telling you, my internal whatever, my opinion on the matter. I just felt like he could have, just because of the timeline, and they kept him on the active roster and all those things. But yeah, I was wrong. And I wish they would have just put him on IR.
I don't know if you were wrong, because this injury, isn't this injury different from what he suffered?
I mean, it is a foot, but I don't know the details of it. But I don't know, and I want him to be successful. I don't like the Raiders, and I think Josh McDaniels is one of the worst head coaches in the NFL, but I do want Jimmy to be successful. I look back on Jimmy's time here. It's frustrating, right? But, man, I remember how bad we sucked. And I also remember the highs of when he came in for those last 5 games and just thinking, like, man, the Niners are going to be a dynasty. And that was cool. Tommy, Jimmy left, the drama did not. Nope. Yeah. Drama sells, sadly.
I look, I'm happy that we don't have to deal with the antics from Jimmy Garoppolo and his team. And so, like, I'm happy that it's gone. I am not happy that he's injured. I'm hoping my question then pros itself that way. That's not what this was.
What's the question? I can't see it.
What was
the question?
It was simply, are you happy that you no longer have that? Are you happy that Jimmy Garoppolo is no longer a problem for the 49ers?
What were the results?
Okay, I forgot to read the results. 87% said yes. And so he was a problem in more than one way, John. The number one way was he couldn't stay healthy. Ding, ding. I give myself the ding, ding.
That's what Kyle said whenever, they traded up for Trey Lance was, we're very happy with Jimmy. We just can't rely on him.
Good point.
So, yeah, I want him to do well. I'll be pulling for the Raiders almost all the games, but I hate most of the AFC West anyway, so.
All right. We got some super chats, John, before we jump on up out of here, man. Shout out to everybody that just wanted to give on both streams, and we appreciate it because this is what we do. This is what we do. This is who we are, and we appreciate you guys and your support and things like that. All right, so we didn't get to Damon's second super chat. All right, so he says, "Let's play a game, spicy version, stardom." So Damon is on something different right now. First of all, Damon, what I need you to do is go to my channel and subscribe because I like you. I like the spiciness. Spicy is good.
I know. I want to start doing more of these. It forces you to make decisions that are so the stardom, you sit them, cut them. That's big in the dynasty football community, like the trade calculators and all that stuff.
Okay,
so that's always a big deal over there with the rankings. So this is fun and it's hard. I don't like this. I feel like I'm wading into dangerous territory. And so he's talking, okay, start him, sit him, cut him. Debo, Ayuk.
Did he call him Deborah? Wait a minute.
I don't know about that.
Wait a minute.
It's Debo. Come on.
No wonder, and this is why Debo be blocking my stuff. Y'all gotta stop talking. Listen, there's nobody that's more aggressive than Debo Samuel. So you gotta give him that. Matter of fact, he's so aggressive, he gets dinged up from time to time. Come on. But I still love you, Damon.
All right. So basically what we got to do is rank these 1, 2, 3. And we got to do it long term. So we're setting the parameters here. This isn't just for 2023. This is moving forward. Gosh, this is hard, man.
It ain't hard for me.
You go ahead then, because
I'm starting Debo.
Oh, you put him 1.
I'm sitting Ayuk, and I'm cutting Kittle.
Man, I disagree.
That's fine.
I disagree.
I want you to.
I'm going to go Kittle 1.
Oh, no. I just said I want you to disagree, then I said hell no.
I think that he provides something that nobody else can. I think the CMC acquisition made it where you're not so dependent on Debo. Now, I'm not saying I don't want Debo. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the most important for the near future, George Kittle just does something nobody else can do in the run game, the pass game, all those things. It's different. Captain, leader, voice, all those things. I want Kittle. He's so damn good. I'm going Ayuk 2, Debo 3. So I'm going, start Kittle, sit Ayuk, and man, I can't even say that. I'm putting Debo 3rd. I can't even say that.
I can't. First of all, I can't cut Debo or sit Debo. I can't because when he's on the field, okay, when he's on the field, great things happen. It does not mean you have to use him as a running back. Just give him the ball with 1 yard. He's taking it 99 yards. I've never seen George Kittle do that. I haven't even seen Brandon Ayuk do that.
No, that's his skill set, right? Now, who helps the most in the run game, which is what this entire offensive philosophy is.
Yeah, but Debo doesn't need that. Debo doesn't need that.
That's true. And then Ayuk, he's the purest wide receiver.
He's the best wide receiver.
Ray could fill in and do some. Ray could fill in. CMC can kind of do some of those things. But I don't know, man. This is hard. I hate it. A
lot of people say that. I don't get it, though. Because are you starting Kittle because of his ability in the run game? Or is it from his ability to be able to get yak after he catches a pass? But then who's hitting home runs when they catch a pass in the yak? What are we doing here? Like I don't get it. John is 100% right from Aaron. Kittle and Ayuk will be Niners for a while. Debo is going to Miami or something. It's possible. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that they trade Brandon Ayuk next year. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. It's possible they let Kittle go. Like there's so many possibilities that can happen.
Now, I want to add this in. Sorry. We're doing that 91-man roster countdown or whatever. And so we had 5 people rank 1 through 91. These were the accumulative score. The lower the score, the better. All 3 of these players were back to back to back. George Kittle had the best ranking. He had a 30 cumulative score. Brandon Ayuk, 47. Debo, 51. The lower the score, the better. So they were 6, 7, 8 on our...
What ranked him so low? Is it ability? Because George Kittle missed tons of fucking football. Like, I don't get it.
This was just for the upcoming year, so it's a different conversation. This is just for the 2023 season. And again, I think it's just Kittle impacts everything. Debo does too, though. Yeah, this.
I mean, Debo, to me, out of the three, Debo's the worst blocking. But do you want him to be?
He runs. He can run.
He can run. I don't know. It's to each their own. I'm not going to sit here and defend. I mean, you pick who you want. Damon didn't tell us who he would do, or did he?
He's choosing violence, man.
I wonder if he went Deborah Ayuk kiddo. I wonder if he would start Debo.
No, I don't think he would. Not with the way he phrased that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we got to ask him again. Sammy and Pickle with the Super Chat contribution. He says, show is fire. Love both Brock and Trey. So happy Jimmy is gone. I am thankful for him bringing us back to relevance, but it was past time to move on. And this is it, right? We are all grateful for what Jimmy Garoppolo did, but Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't even stay healthy so that we could continue to manifest the blessings that we have bestowed upon our team.
Yeah, and him and Kyle hated each other.
100%. I mean, that's really the real deal. The real deal. Like
they and again, like the leaving and not talking to anybody and all that stuff. It's weird, but that's just who he is. And be who you are. I get it.
I love it.
I get it.
Super chat contribution from Daryl Granville. John, you're going to take this one.
He says, do you think we will have a 3-3-5 look? No, I don't. We did do a dime set for a while last year where you had 6 DBs, but we took off the linebacker, not the D line. So it was a 4-1-6, which is that's not what they call it, but it was a true dime set where you only had one backer, but you still had your 4 defensive linemen. I don't think with the way this is set up, I don't think they're going to do that. I think more 4-2-5 and more 4-1-6, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense to me. Sean Shepard's in the building with a couple of super chat contributions.
Terrible
take. Wait, Kanan's doing better, so his son is healing and recovering well.
Yes.
All right. But why is Mike Tomlin still a head coach? They lose every year.
Mike Tomlin is my number one coach in the NFL. If I was starting a franchise and I was the owner, Mike Tomlin would be my very first call.
Well, you can't make that statement and not say why.
Never had a losing season despite terrible quarterback play for the last 6 years.
Good point.
Won Super Bowls. Never heard a word about Antonio Brown until he was gone. No problems with Le'Veon Bell, the contract holdout, all that stuff. This dude, he is just a leader of men. I freaking love Mike Tomlin. If I could have one person in the NFL coach my children, it would be Mike Tomlin. And I just think he's a badass coach and an amazing human. That's just
and the players love him.
Love him.
They play a little different for him, just like our players love our head coach.
And he is honest. Like it is so funny. Like a player will step out of line. Like I forgot who it was. Oh, it was Chase Claypool. I think it was Chase Claypool. He comes out. He's like, man, we need to have like music at practice, and like we need to turn up. We need to have feel. And he was talking to the press. The next day, they asked Mike Tomlin this, and he goes, I appreciate that feedback and I appreciate that concern, but I think we're going to continue to run the program how I see fit as the head coach. Like he is no nonsense, just badass, and you'll never find anybody say anything bad about him besides Steve, maybe.
Losing season. His tenure.
No. That's incorrect. He has 0 because they even had a what's it called last year, didn't they? Am I wrong? They went 10-6. They went 8-8 twice, 8-8 3 times. Yeah, never had a losing.
He's
season.
Never been under 500.
16 years, never. Yeah, 16 years. That is
bananas. John is correct. Wow. All right, let's keep it going. We have a few more to get through. This is from Peachy. She says, Breezy and John, it is time to get this weekend started right. Wishing everyone a great Memorial Day weekend, and to all who have the people that serve that are no longer with us, remember them, which we will do. We thank them for their service. And we 100%. Do that, man. Peachy, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. All right. Let's get to Christy Marie's Super Chat contribution. Great show. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. I want to know, Christy, how do you get all the colors? How you get the Smurf color hearts? Like, what am I not doing? I don't know. I can't figure it out. She get all the colors. It was purple hearts earlier, Smurf color hearts here. That's really cool. Sean's back. Sean says, John, has an Eagles tattoo on his back. He got it when he was a kid.
Wow.
Chuck would be happy if he noticed that. It looks like green big beard now. That's why Angry Birds is John's favorite movie. He is angry. He got that tattoo. Better D. Girl, this is the first time I've ever been able to read and understand and comprehend a Sean Shepard's contribution.
So here's what's funny is one, Angry Birds was my least favorite movie I maybe ever saw in my life.
I didn't see it.
I hated it.
I couldn't do it.
But man, I respect the way they build their team. I think Howie Roseman is a freaking baller. I just said if I could have any head coach, it'd be Mike Tomlin. If I could have any GM, it'd be Howie Roseman. So yeah, but I don't like the Eagles. I freaking hate them. But that doesn't mean I don't respect the way they build their team. I think they have one of the worst head coaches. Nick Sirianni is a freaking turd bucket. I can't stand that clown. I can't stand that dude.
There it is. All right, we got so Damon decided to. He said he cheated though.
Gave it.
So start Kittle, sit Debo. He's trading Ayuk. The value might be great for Ayuk.
Yeah, but if you're going to trade him, you kind of missed your window there.
Yeah, because it's $14.5 million next year. Yeah. You would have wanted to have done it to get a first-round pick last year in the draft.
But you shouldn't have because you got all these young quarterbacks. What's quarterback need? Weapons. Why would you trade the best pure wide receiver on the team?
Amen.
In the worst wide receiver class in a long time.
Amen. John, let everybody know what you got going for the rest of the weekend, and then you can take us home. Shout out to everybody out there. Thank you to all the Breezy's Bunch Club members out there. Appreciate you. If you liked everything you saw on the show, please click join. Become a member of the Breezy's Bunch crew. Don't forget to join John Chapman's channel as well. You could become a member as well. And don't forget to subscribe to both channels. John, let us know what you're doing this weekend, where we can find you, and then take us home, baby.
Man, just type in 49ers Rush anywhere you're at. But, I'm working pretty heavily on this 90-man roster series, which is so freaking fun. The amount of research and all that stuff that goes in. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't checked that out yet, just type in, John Chapman anywhere you watch and or listen. And I'm putting together those episodes in my audio platform for those for people that don't go online to YouTube and stuff like that. So you'll be getting that just a little bit more delayed. So check that out. But, man, if you haven't yet, please go subscribe to the Wayne Breezy Show. It's absolutely incredible. The stuff that you do, Wayne, is it's freaking awesome, man. The energy, the positivity, it's great. And it's so cool because when we do these shows, we get comments from your channel, my channel, and your community's just bonkers, man. And another funny thing, Wade goes, let's keep this show under an hour. Let's keep the show under an hour.
See, what had happened was when you start scrolling through this community chat, they get you. They got mind control over. They be like, when they walk in, they be like, shut the fuck up, and then when they leave, we be talking again. But it's kind of like the opposite. So love everybody out there.
Yeah, it's the best. Well, anyway, let's bring it to a close. Oh, no, we can't.
We can't. Matter of fact, I got two because I didn't get to do this earlier. I got to give a shout out to my man, Niner Cali Boy, 5-month member. All right, Breezy's Bunch Gold, and the brother from another mother from all the way across the bay, because it take that long to get there. Make some noise for the one and only, my man, Lee Collin in the building. Flex bomb.
Man.
Where my bomb at?
If you don't know, you all know Lee. He announced the pick at the Vegas NFL draft. He was the one on stage that announced
Samuel Womack the third, baby.
That was awesome, man. It was so cool because we hung out with him right after he announced the pick in Vegas.
Was that when I showed up to the bar extra late and I had to go to the John Legend show?
That sounds correct.
Those were great drinks. I was lit at the John Legend show. Yes, I was. I was litty 100%. Member of both channels, Lee. Thank you so much. Oh, man. He subscribed to both of our channels. Yeah.
The Prez. He's the president of the UK Faithful chapter. Just does great work over there. Him and Paul Hope. I'm not sure who I think it is Lee, but shout out to Flackers. That's his call sign on Twitter. Great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. John, send us home, baby. What a great show.
We got to do it. You guys are the best, and until next time, stay strong, Faithful.